Welcome. I'm Harmony Slater, your host of the Finding Harmony podcast. Over the past 20 years, I've taught thousands of yoga teachers and students to explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, using mind-body practices to heal, awaken, and manifest their dreams from the inside out. This podcast is a sanctuary for those feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Are you ready to jump in and discover how these challenges aren't actually in the way, but are the way to finding harmony? Let's invite the magic back in. Hi, welcome to the Finding Harmony podcast. I'm your host, Harmony, and I could not be happier that you're here today because we are diving into a whole episode on rituals and sacred routines that you can integrate into your life this holiday season. And so today I'm speaking with three remarkable women who have all mastered the art of connecting with the divine feminine energy and creating more abundance in their lives by cultivating mindfulness in different ways. And so I'm going to start by talking to Marie Rankin, who is a best-selling author of The Goddess Solution, and she really helps women tap into their inner wisdom and divine feminine energy. And alongside her, then, I will be speaking with Sarah Walton, who is a gifted abundance coach, and her work has helped to transform countless women's relationships with wealth and prosperity. And then I'll be connecting with my dear friend, Kate O'Donnell, who is a multiple best-selling author of many different books on Ayurveda and recipes on Ayurveda. And she is incredibly passionate about advocating for holistic health, and her expertise bridges from Ashtanga yoga and somatic practices to ancient Ayurvedic tools and techniques and recipes and combining it with modern living. And she's also going to share her khichdi recipe in the show notes, so you can grab that. And so I'm really just excited to dive into this episode with you and uncover some of the rituals and practices that can help you step into your power, embrace abundance, and live in harmony with your body's natural wisdom throughout the holiday season. So whether you're just beginning your journey or deepening your existing practices, this conversation is going to offer you so many valuable insights and practical tools for your personal growth. Let's dive right in. Hello, I'm here with my beautiful friend, Marie Rankin, who wrote The Goddess Solution. It's been a couple years since this book was published, and you were one of our first guests on the podcast, I think.
I know I was. Well, thank you for having me back then, and thank you for having me now. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I would love to hear. You have this beautiful book that's full of all these different goddesses from different traditions, and I'm looking for some kind of ritual for the holiday season to end the year, to start the next year off. What do you got? You're the expert.
Sure. Well, I love this question because I think rituals are so important because they wake us up and they expand our consciousness, and they also make magic from the mundane. So one of the things that I've been working with in my life and with my community is really the concept of like re-enchantment, because often we go through our days and we're sort of sleepwalking through life. We do things habitually. And again, rituals help us like wake up. Now we're approaching the holiday season, and the holiday season is already very magical in some ways. But the rituals that I'm working with is really to infuse some of the things that you might be doing anyways with a lot more intention and really thinking back to why did we do them in the first place? So, for example, we have Yule, winter solstice, coming up, and that represents the darkest day of the year. Now, you can imagine, like hundreds of years ago, maybe even 100 years ago, right? We didn't have electricity. It was really dark. So it was actually a scary time. So people would have lights and candles. And now's the time we often have candles. They're in our windows. We might have a Christmas tree with lots of lights. And the lights would be like beckoning the sun to come. So hundreds of years ago, and thinking about like, well, what do we want to come into our life? So as the sun starts to return, but really remembering like why we have some of these traditions and infusing them with more intention. So as you are lighting the Christmas tree, really thinking about, okay, what do I want to bring in? What do I want the sun to come in? What are my intentions for the year ahead? And then another one is, we have Christmas trees, we have wreaths, we have kissing balls. We're
Yeah.
bringing all of this greenery into our house. And I think that's really beautiful. One, because we are in our house more. So it gives us an
Mm.
opportunity to connect with nature. And then it's also remembering that evergreens are strong, they're resilient.
Mm.
So when we bring, whether we're decorating a Christmas tree or you're just making some beautiful holiday arrangement, really thinking of it as an honor to what have you gone through this past
Mm.
year? Where was your strength? Where was your resilience? And remembering these aspects of ourselves. And
Mm.
then I'll just share one more and then we can go a
Okay.
little bit deeper if you want. The other is too, just a lot of people bake cookies during the
Yeah.
holiday season to give them as gifts. And sometimes this can seem a little task or chore oriented, but if you really think of them as, oh, I'm infusing these with love and gratitude for the recipient, and then writing maybe your little note card, like, why are you actually grateful for this recipient? So I think there's things that we can do. I love new rituals and rituals that, maybe brand new that we want to try, but we can also just start to infuse our current rituals with intention instead of it being a have to do or I'm just doing this while I'm also scrolling Instagram, but remembering the reasons why these rituals exist in the first place and starting to bring back some more meaning to it.
I love this because sometimes, it's we get tired of, oh, not another thing to do. And so tapping into what we're already doing and focusing on what we're calling in by lighting the candles. And even, I love that ritual of lighting a candle and just calling in like the spirits, the energy of the ancestors, people we love, people we've lost, just bringing that light and that warmth into what we're doing. It feels like I don't know, it feels really like it's connecting to the spirit realm, this fire and this energy.
Yes, it very much is too. And that's what rituals do. They act as that bridge between the mundane, the earthly realm, and the spiritual realm. And often we're doing things just on autopilot or because we have to. I have to decorate the tree. I have to, bake the cookies. But when we infuse it with more intention, we are connecting with the divine.
Yeah, and I love that too. Like in Ayurveda, they can always tell, like the true yoga masters can always tell when food's been cooked with love. I feel like chefs can
Mhm.
tell too because I watch a lot of cooking shows, and whenever someone's like cooking something from that their mother cooked them or their grandmother, I'm always like, "Oh, they're going to win," because they're cooking with this sense of love and devotion, and it means so much to them, this dish, and they always do. They always win, and the chefs are like, "We could taste the love in the food even if they don't know the story." So I
Oh,
think
that's
like
so
what you're
interesting.
saying, right? Bringing the love and bringing like intention into this. I mean, really cooking is a type of alchemy. We're taking something that's one substance and transform or many things and then bringing something totally fresh and new to it.
It really is, and it's so interesting. I didn't know that about the cooking shows. I mean, I know
Yeah,
that
it's
from an
true.
Ayurveda standpoint, but yeah, like, what would it be like if you really infused things with intention? And maybe don't bake cookies for someone you don't like that much, right? Like, so it's also just showing up fully and being, authentic with your intentions or with what you're being generous for this year.
Yeah, or maybe we could challenge people to, like, think of someone that maybe in their family that they have maybe some little personality problems with or something, and then they could bake some cookies or, if they're gonna do it anyway, but have the intention of mending relationships or creating peace or
I love
ease
that.
or something to the relationship and then feeding them the cookies and see what happens.
Yes, I love that. Or yeah, and even thinking like, okay, there's something about this person that you might be grateful for. Maybe it's even just a lesson that they taught you, or they taught
Mm.
you to be more resilient because you have to endure, a conversation with them or whatever it is. But thinking about that and yeah, bringing some of that in.
Yeah, I feel like that's kinda cool because it's also almost like a little we think of this, what you're saying, this type of incantation or it's a type of intention, a type of putting your energy, your consciousness into the things that you're doing, whether it's decorating the house, lighting the tree, wrapping the presents, and just doing it with a real presence and a real like moment of calling in. What do you want to call into your life? And that can really change our future too if we're starting to create this habit of calling in, you know, being aware of what we're calling in.
Oh, most definitely. And I think just so many of these things that we've done, and I can even remember when my children were little and I'd be like wrapping gifts and it would be like 11 at night and I'd have some show on Netflix
Yeah.
and stuff. And, there probably wasn't that much intention at the time. It was just like, I have to wrap these gifts. But then before we know it, the season is over and we're just, and we're kind of just getting rid of things. And there's a feeling of that something quite didn't land because we weren't
Yeah.
fully awake for it. But yeah, what if we truly like kind of embodied the spirit of like generosity, of gratitude, of calling in what it is that we want when the sun returns, maybe reflecting on our resiliency and strength, then life's not just passing us by, but we become active co-creators.
I'm getting shivers. This is so powerful because also I feel like that is a real struggle, especially, when your kids are young and you're busy. But also I think for all of us these days, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like time is speeding up or something insane because it just keeps going really fast. And I think what you're saying is a beautiful way to kind of disrupt this very fast flowing river of time and kind of just put your foot down in it and just be really present and really intentional with the moment and go into those situations thinking like, what do I want to bring to this, or who do I want to be in this, or what do I want to be aware of in this? And then it's a beautiful way to kind of stretch time out and make it last a little bit longer.
It really is. And that's what I love working with the seasons because, everyone always says, I need to get in nature more. I need to spend more time in nature. And in a way, I'm sure we all do. But we also have to remember that you are nature. We are
Yeah.
nature. Whatever is going on outside is happening within us as well, too. So we're not just kind of like mere bystanders watching, the holiday season pass us on TV, but we can actually be active participants in it. And when we do that, we do slow down time, as you were saying. So it's not just, oh, where's the time go? But I'm in it. I'm fully awake. I'm fully conscious and I'm fully, infusing everything that I do with more sense of intention and love and gratitude.
I love it. Thank you so much. I feel like my mind's been refreshed. I've been reminded of something really important that I knew, but I kind of forgot a little bit.
I always need those reminders too. It's just, okay, well, what am I really doing? What's the meaning behind this?
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. It's so wonderful to connect with you. Thank you so much for being here and for coming on as my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. Hi, I am with my beautiful friend Sarah Walton. Sarah is a business mentor for women, and you were on our podcast earlier this year. But we're circling back because guess what? It's been a hell of a year.
It really
And
has. Yeah.
I want your insights into what we can do to set ourselves up in a little more thoughtful way, maybe an intentional way,
Yeah.
so that 2025 is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not do dumpster fire years anymore, shall we? I
Let's
love this idea.
Yeah, get out of that.
Yeah. I mean, making it intentional, I think, is so important because what happens towards the end of any year is we all are like, forget this year. I don't know if you've already seen this. People are like, forget this year. It's over. I'm like, no, lots of days, lots of beautiful, wonderful days left. But we get this feeling of like, when they're in the movies and they're going to have, sorry, forgive me, they're going to have sex on the desk. They wipe everything off
Yeah.
and then everything's good. It's nope. That's not how year end works, but we think it is. So one of the better I've found, there's so many amazing exercises and things and rituals you can do towards the end of the year. But one of the things I think is the most important because our brains are little dopamine seekers is we're always looking for what's next. That's why we want to wipe off this year and just start over. Cause magically when the clock flips, everything's right. Yeah. We have this desire. It's why people buy 85,000 notebooks and all the things that we do to start over.
Yeah.
Because we're seeking that dopamine hit. But another way that we can get that that's really beneficial to how we view ourselves and how we start to set up the next year is by actually taking stock of all the wins. And at first that sounds, well, duh, Walton, I know. But I think if we can actually look at what were you proud of today already, that's really hard to do for most people. They're like, what? Today already. Like for me, I ran the fastest I've run in a long time. I'm so excited. Like my legs hurt and I'm dying, but I'm so happy, right? But we're talking about little things like that. What are the little things that really make you happy? Did you finish a book you didn't think you were going to finish? Did you have a great conversation with your children or your spouse? Did you sell something new in your business? Do you have plans to create something new? All those ideas and actions that we take get forgotten in our chase for new. And because our to-do lists will never be done, ever, the sooner we realize this, the better, right? It really helps us get to that point of satisfaction, of just pride, of being enough, because we always feel like we're not enough, right? So really, okay, so today I did this. What did I do last week? I'm really, really proud of over the last 7 days. What have I done that was just freaking amazing? And then extending that out to this last month. And then you extend that out month by month by month if you can. And this is a really great thing to do even on, I don't quite want to do it on New Year's Eve because it's a frenetic time for most of us. But like the 28th of December, the 27th, when like the hype of most of the holidays are gone. And that's the week where most people are sitting around thumbing through their phones because they feel fat and gross and they can't believe another year's gone by. So you're like, I hate myself. You're going through that, right? It's a great time to do that, of just using those days in between, you know, the Christmas holiday and the New Year's holiday to really sort of stretch out what you want the next year to be like and enjoy those days, not wish them away or eat them away or sleep them away, but actually using them in a beautiful way. So this, what am I really proud of? Exercise is a great way to begin.
I love that.
It's so helpful.
Do you always work backwards? Do you always start with the current day and work backwards, or do you ever go chronologically?
I do go backwards. Now that could be, look, I'm left-handed. I do a lot of things the way most people don't because my brain's all on the other side. But what I do like to do that way because we tend to remember, like this, I remember this morning's run like that.
Yeah.
Right. I can remember that real quick. Or I can remember last night, even what I did. Those come in really fast. And then it sort of gets your mind going on it. And then you can look back. Social media is great for this, or just looking at your calendar. If you have a social media problem, you know who you are. Right. So if you just want to look into your calendar, you can sort of see what you did. What vacations did you take? Where did you go? What did you, and that will sort of spark those ideas. But I find if you start with yesterday or today, it just kind of starts snowballing.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I like that. I like going through the calendar too, because you can kind of be like, oh yeah, I went there, I did that. Yeah.
You especially, lady, you've just been all over the place. Your 2024 was amazing. Yeah. So that's how we kick it off. And I like to highlight a couple of them that really stand out. Right. And those can be a very difficult conversation you didn't think you were going to have. You know, that you did, a time that you respected yourself or put up a boundary. For so many of us, that's been challenging. It can also be, you know, a revenue goal inside your business or something you did, or maybe you hired somebody that you didn't think you were going to be able to hire yet. Those are the things you kind of want to sort of notice, and you can get fun with highlighters. You know, you can do asterisks, stars, Post-it notes, whatever it is that kind of help those stand out. Because from there, what I like to do next is really imagine that it's a year from now, right? So now it's the end of 2025. What would make my socks roll up and down? Oh my God, best year ever without being crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I did not marry Tom Hiddleston, but I thought about it a lot, right? Go ahead. So like you get big, like you have a lot of fun with it, right? But what I like to do when I do this is actually put myself in the day. In a day of beauty, right? So maybe it's like you want to do like mid-November 2025 and you're looking back on the year already and you're like, oh my gosh, when I wake up in the morning, I'm so happy because I feel this way. For me this year, I redid my kitchen with a lot of my own sweat and labor. I'm very proud of this, by the way. I walk in there every day and I'm like, oh my God, I love you. I've been known to hug my counter and be like, I love you so much, right? But like, what would make you feel that way when you walk into your business, when you open your inbox, when you talk to your spouse, when you talk to your family members, when you talk to your team, when you're talking to colleagues, what creates that for you? Like, what would that be? Are you reading certain books? What are the conversations you're having that are making you excited? You could also just map out a full day. I woke up today and this is what happened, and this is who I talked to, and this is what I read, and this was in my gratitude journal, and this is what I did here. You're like, so you can see yourself in it, so it doesn't feel like you got married to Tom Hiddleston. It doesn't feel fake, right?
Yeah.
It's more, love you, Tom. Anyway, so it's like this, like more of a realistic thing that you can do where you really feel yourself in that day. And then as you look at that and you're like, okay, so the revenue in the business is this much. And I think that's really important for business owners, especially. If you don't have your own business, it's, I have this much invested. I've saved this much. For a lot of people I know, it's like getting out of debt, right? Like whatever that is, what do you need to learn? What do you need to stop doing? And what do you need to start doing to cause that day to be real? And so if we can really get into that and feel it and be in that day, like having a grounded, intentional 2025 starts to fall out of you. And I think that's what's so important about setting intentional goals or having a ritual like this is so often people think they're supposed to write down certain goals, but they didn't come from them.
Yeah.
They came from outside. Oh God, there's 6-figure, like whatever happens. I know business stuff. I'm like, oh my God, insert eye roll here. Right? That didn't come from you.
Yeah.
That came from an Instagram ad you saw one time while you were on the treadmill. Like, no, what do you want? What's going to come from you that's going to make you really happy? And for business owners, a really important part of this ritual is, what would you be happy to fulfill on? Because you never want to create something or do something or hit a revenue goal. And then you're like, okay, in order to do that, I have to sell 20 VIP sessions that I hate and I don't want to do, right? That's not going to work. So maybe as we're looking at what do you need to stop doing, maybe you need to stop selling that thing you hate. How could you redo it in a way that would make you happy? So every time a purchase comes in, you're like, oh my gosh, I love my life so much. And looking for that as opposed to, well, I have to do this thing to make money. Because we've been living that way long enough now. It's kind of like, how can I make money and just love this? What could I do to make it exciting for me?
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you'll naturally sell more all throughout the whole year, but you'll also feel a lot more calm and a lot more connected and in harmony all throughout the year if you're able to sort of allow these things to come out of you instead of being forced upon you.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so important to really tune in to what you want and why you want it and go deep into the why. And then, like you say, also realize it can be fun and enjoyable and not a chore or a slog.
I call it pushing water uphill.
Yeah.
That is never a fun day when you're like, what'd you do? I pushed water uphill today. That's what I did. No, this is not a life we want. And there will be tasky tasks and there will be things we all have to do. Of course, like we're grown-ups, we understand that piece. But if the overarching experience is one of joy and connection and contribution and being seen, it's so much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, and what an awesome year to have where like 90% of what you get to do in your business or in your career is stuff that you love doing.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you said yes to coming back on and sharing with us your wisdom and your rituals. And I'm going to be putting it into practice. So I hope other people will too.
Me too. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I will always say yes to you. I love being with you all the time.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hello, I'm here with Kate O'Donnell, who is an Ayurveda expert. Ayurveda goddess. I think that's what we called you on the last episode.
That works.
And I want to know, we're just ending the year here. And what can we do in this beautiful week between Christmas Eve and New Year's to really end our year consciously, intentionally, and really step into our best year ever?
So in Ayurveda, the body and the world of elements and substances, those are the substratum of our reality. So like they really matter, it really matters, like let's say the state of your body moving into your intentions in the new year. And like, how are we preparing the soil? for the seeds that we intend to plant. So I always, I struggle, Harmony, with the New Year's resolution thing.
Me too.
Yeah. I struggle with, it's not, I guess it's not like my personality as much I'm doing that all the time, I guess,
Yeah.
like intending and manifesting. So what I do go towards though for rituals around this time of year, it does have to do with, preparing the soil, and I would say preparing the body, strengthening the body, in Ayurveda we say the best thing we can do is to keep the person stronger than the disease. So it's like this strengthening of the form, and the form, the body that's the vessel through which all the work will happen in this coming year, So
Yeah.
the irony of it is that the holidays in December are sort of feasting holidays.
And drinking
Yes,
holidays.
and drinking and like cookie making, all those things. And I
Yeah.
love celebration. I do. I get into the whole thing. And so what I do usually do, sometimes it's during this week, sometimes it's around the new year, sometime in the first like 7 days of January or so, I will do a khichdi. Like I'll eat a mono diet for maybe even just a day, sometimes 2 or 3 days, like not a big drawn out thing. But it's a funny one because, I do it for the purposes of, purifying the digestion, but more importantly, it's like an activity or an action that I make regularly in a ritualistic way, that my food becomes like an offering into the fire of intention that I hold for the coming year.
Ooh, that's powerful. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's important, that I'm the food person, right? I've written like 4 books about Ayurveda and food,
Yeah.
but it very much is. It's creating a sacred relationship within the world of substance and form that supports, on a very basic level, supports that which we intend for. So it's not only ideas. That's the thing I feel
Yeah.
about the New Year's intention is like idea. No, we're talking action. We're talking like we're feeding the ghee lamp.
Yeah.
With we're giving that just simple food. It doesn't have to be, mung beans and rice, and it could be anything. I think it could be oatmeal.
Yeah. I was gonna say porridge.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something that we can choose, something that's nourishing and basic, just on a
Yeah.
basic elemental form of food, that is it's born of nature, it's easy to digest, so the flame is actually, we improve the quality of the flame at the center of the being through a practice that around food. So it could be anything, it could be anything, but I find to have it just be the same thing all the time,
Yeah.
that's what the body kind of likes. That it's okay, we can get on board with this, for a day or a couple days, and it changes the consciousness, everything like morphs, the field around you morphs into a different space where realizations and relationships with the nature of reality are available in a way, because you've
Beautiful.
created the space for it, which is so interesting, because I'm sure a lot of the rituals we're talking about, on this podcast
Yeah.
are about sort of creating space,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I do like to do that through food, because it's also an antidote in a way to the feasting holidays that have,
Yeah. The medicine we need.
yeah, it's you just say the a clarity is easier to come
Yeah.
by when the food is really simple. It doesn't have to be forever. It's not like the whole month. It's just a day or
Yeah.
two.
Okay, so I have some questions. So, would you say if someone wants to do this, to say I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 3 days. Was 3 days a good enough amount of time?
I think so.
You said
In the winter,
okay.
yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
deeper in spring and fall, but winter is the
Right.
season where we want to kind of keep the body strong.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's also different than a cleanse. I'll put cleanse in my air quotes here because often when we think of cleansing, we're thinking of like juice fasting or water fasting or something that's, or not eating, or like the master
Yeah.
cleanse, or I don't know. This is what I think about when I think about cleansing in a sense.
Right.
And you're talking about nourishing more
Yeah.
and planning mono diet of nourishing foods. What would be, so we have khichdi, which you have amazing recipes for in your books.
Yeah.
But probably also you have like on your website or something, some
Yep, I do.
khichdi recipe,
On
right?
the blog, yep.
On the blog. And what else? If someone was like, I don't really like khichdi, or I'm allergic to beans or vegetable protein, what would be another option? You mentioned oatmeal
Yeah, or kanji, which is just
or
a
kanji.
rice. So
Yeah.
it's like you make rice, but you use 8 parts water.
Yeah,
It's
like the rice
soup.
porridge
Yeah,
soup.
exactly, exactly. And you can make it savory, a little ginger, a little turmeric, some seaweed in there,
Yeah.
or you could do dates or raisins and cinnamon. Always ginger though, and turmeric. And those
Nice.
will kind of help, kindle the agni, get the digestion going.
And so put those also in the oatmeal and also in the khichdi as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The turmeric and the ginger.
Yes. Yeah.
And could someone like flavor it kind of sweet in the morning and then do something savory in the evening?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do like a cinnamon version, in the morning, and
Yeah.
then later in the day, like I'll put, baby kale in it and,
Yeah.
ginger, cumin, coriander. You could like garnish with cilantro. That makes a big difference for a lot of people, just the color and the fresh taste.
Yeah.
Parsley, if you can't find cilantro that time of year, I'll use parsley. Yeah.
Okay. And then ghee if you can.
Yep.
And
Ghee
what's a
is
good
the
substitute if someone's like anti ghee,
Yeah,
animal
it's
products?
traditionally speaking, there is no substitute for ghee
I
in
know.
terms of its magical qualities. I know that but other
We'll
oils,
just put it out there. Ghee's okay, guys. Ghee's
yeah,
okay.
other oils, for people who don't want cows involved, let's
Yeah.
say, could
Yeah.
certainly use like a family farm small batch olive oil. That
Okay.
works. It's more about the quality of the oil really than,
Okay.
we could do
Yeah.
some coconut, especially for people who live in tropical places where the coconuts are everywhere. Could do coconut
Yeah.
oil. And we can do sesame as well. Not like the toasted kind, but just a pure sesame oil. It just has a very specific flavor that might get old after a couple days.
Yeah. Depends how much you love sesame oil.
Exactly. 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 Yeah.
What about almond oil? Do you ever use almond oil for anything?
So no, I don't cook with many of the oils made from nuts or
Yeah.
seeds because of that can we trust that they're fresh,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they go off a lot easier and faster than ghee, olive,
Yeah.
and coconut. So I tend to work
Yes.
most honestly with those 3 for internal use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, so then we set out our meal. We have our meal prep. We're going to do it for 3 days. And would you like, in order to prepare your body to kind of nourish yourself, to set yourself up for the new year, to set this intention, would you kind of like journal, or would you create your intention in the middle? Would you create at the beginning? Would you kind of create at the end? Where do you find it's best? Like, where are you most kind of dialed in to your,
Mm.
I don't know, to the effects
Yeah.
of really like the spiritual, energetic effects of nourishing yourself this way and eliminating really a lot of the toxins that maybe you've imbibed or enjoyed during the holidays.
Yeah. For me, there's the moments before eating where you have prepared the preparation. I think is big. That's where all the prana, that's where you imbue the food with your energy, and your intention is there. So the food prep is important, just to really immerse the senses in the foods while you're preparing them.
Can you chant mantra?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tend to listen to ragas for the
Mm,
time of day, while I'm cooking.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's fantastic. That's a great practice regardless, but I'll
Yeah.
do that. And then when I sit down to eat, that's for me, those are the magic moments before the nourishment enters the body, is like, may this nourishment create the substratum for the work,
Mhm.
in the world. May
Yeah.
I strengthen
Yeah.
this vessel so that the energy can move through me, and the intention that's not mine,
Yeah.
so that I'm a vessel for that stuff, and that it's moving through. And so I use the food really as it's an offering. It's like when you do a puja and you give the bananas. It's
Yeah.
but it's happening like here, and my Agni, my sacred flame that digests the food that's what I'm sort of praying to,
Mhm.
so that then this body is that temple, that where we do the
Yeah.
good works. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you just said that and brought that up for everyone because I think that's something that actually I don't know, I mean, we've kind of talked around it a lot before, you and I, but it's something that people don't actually think about so much these days, I think. And it's a very ancient alchemical principle that is truly magical. Like it's truly about manifestation in a way. And what you're saying is so powerful. Like that tuning into the vibration that you're creating, like either by listening or chanting or just around the food making. And then before you eat, like creating that prayer or that intention, that sense of gratitude, that sense of what you're taking in and making an offering to that sacred fire inside yourself that's digesting. I think all of this is really a powerful practice that you're talking about that I mean we could do any time of the year, but especially if you're going to all this trouble to to eat and fast, in a sense, fast from other types of food and just have this nourishing khichdi or congee or oatmeal or something that's really good for your tissues and your body and the elimination process to really bring some awareness into.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Do you think
huge.
that that's more powerful and important than maybe even what we're eating?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I make this joke that you can have like your Ayurvedic chef prepare your dosha balancing meal and then eat it behind the wheel of a car and ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, right?
Aggravate your vata while you eat this like perfectly prepared meal.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we missed the mark a lot culturally with the conversation about food. Yeah, everyone wants to hear about
Yeah.
the what, where it's really the how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. That's why I say
So
it doesn't have to be khichdi. You know what I
mhm,
mean? It's not about the khichdi and what the khichdi is doing as
mhm.
much as it's about the holding the sacred space around the ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But would you recommend cooked foods as opposed to, like, raw foods at
Yes,
this time of year
for
especially?
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. It's if we're feeding a ghee lamp and we give it an unrefined oil. You
Yeah.
wanna you cook it first,
Yeah.
there's a purification happening there and a rendering, of the
Mm.
substances into the proper form.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which in the winter, people who are in a cold place, definitely cooking the food is necessary,
Yeah.
it's necessary. Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
analogy of how we cook oils before we use them for fuel, we refine
Yeah.
things, that's similar to what the cooking process is.
Yeah, that's a beautiful image as well to just remind yourself of. And I think also why so many ancient traditions like Chinese medicine, also Ayurveda, really don't advise a lot of raw food in their food preparation.
Right.
Maybe because of that, right? Like it's doing something to the food. It's changing its form in some way so that we can assimilate it a little
Exactly.
bit
Exactly.
better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to digest and assimilate
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have a really, like, slamming digestive system to do the raw food.
Y- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only to be done at high noon.
Yeah, or, like, warm time of year,
Yeah.
yes, but yes, a midday sun. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe I think you're right. I think tropical countries they're a little bit easier because it's,
Yeah.
the fruits and the vegetables that grow there are maybe right for the climate and your digestive system in that climate.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, though, is a lot of these tropical places, they have a lot of tubers, like root
Mm.
vegetable type
Mhm,
stuff
mhm.
that are, like, heavy and sweet.
Yeah.
We tend to think, oh, it's summer, I'm going to live on like green juice and salad. But,
Yeah.
those parts of the world, they actually give us like really heavy and sweet things like bananas
Yeah.
and
That's right.
yams, taro, you know,
Yeah.
and we still, even when it's hot, because heat reduces the strength of the body, like we're cooking.
That's right.
So you need to
Yeah.
give the flame something.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the places where sometimes the yoga food connection can go a little off.
Yeah. It's true.
The yoga's hot. It's cooking us, it's
Yeah.
cooking us, and the pranayama especially. So that was where, we were taught to eat
Yeah.
like wheat and ghee and rice and bananas and milk and all these like heavy, sweet
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Milk and ghee and sugar is like the perfect yogi diet. And if you add a little ginger, okay, this is the best Christmas drink, right?
Oh.
Warm milk with the ghee and ginger all
Oh,
heated
yeah.
together.
Yeah. Ginger powder, like dry ginger.
No, I do fresh
Fresh ginger.
ginger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But cooked in the milk.
Yep.
So it's just
Right.
flavoring the milk, infusing it with the ginger.
Yeah.
And then the ghee and a little sugar too.
Yeah. Delicious. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very smart tonic,
It's like a Christmas candy.
Ooh.
It's been a while since I had that, but when I was in Thailand, we used to drink it every morning for breakfast.
Yeah, the ginger milk,
Yeah, the
right?
ginger
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah, because you can't say tea because then you'll get tea in it.
Yeah, no tea,
Yeah.
just ginger milk.
Ginger milk, sugar.
Yeah, with a little ghee.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And I mean, that's something a person could fast on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, have that, a number of times during the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could we still have a little chai on our cleanse?
I mean, I think so for sure, There's times where I'm more ascetic and times where less, It's really like what is going to serve the ritual best,
Okay.
We very easily get caught in what the body's going to do. But the
Mhm.
point that we're talking about is not so much a
Yeah.
purification of the body as it's a ritualistic preparation of the soil. So,
Yeah.
does the chai help with that? Does it not? So some years the chai stays for me, some years it goes.
Beautiful.
Stays a lot more than it used to. But I do take breaks. I definitely take breaks.
Yeah, you can just add the ginger and the turmeric and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Just leave out the tea.
That's right. That's the hard part for me.
Me too.
Okay, well, we got our remedy. I'm 100% doing this. I'm so excited, and I hope that others will join me and we can all just nourish ourselves and prepare the vessel to hold all of this beautiful prana for the coming year.
Sounds good. I'm with you.
I'll be sending you love and light and gratitude each day between Christmas and New Year's.
Likewise.
As I prepare myself, I'll be thinking of you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much, Kate. It's always so wonderful to connect with you.
Thank you.
Wait, before you go, I want to share something really special with you. If you've been feeling called to uplevel both your energy and your income, if you're a yoga teacher, healer, coach, or light worker who's ready to create a thriving, sustainable business, all while deepening your spiritual practice, this invitation is for you. I'm opening up a high-touch business coaching community called the Lightworker Mastermind. It's focused on integrating all parts of you, mind, body, and spirit, to help you align your energy and create a sustainable, soul-centered business that allows you to both deeply serve while living abundantly. You'll receive personalized guidance, grounded business strategies, and sacred support to help you break through the energetic blocks and step into your highest potential. Plus, you'll join an intimate community of visionary leaders who share your passion and understand the unique challenges of building a spiritual practice and business. Annual members will receive an exclusive one-on-one strategy session with me to accelerate your transformation and give you your unique path forward. Trust your intuition. If you're resonating with this invitation, it might be exactly the aligned support you've been seeking. Apply today. You can find all the information at harmonyslater.com/lightworker-mastermind. And until we meet again, live light, travel light, be the light. That's it. We've concluded another episode of the Finding Harmony podcast. I just want to thank you so much for doing the work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a huge difference. Please make sure you have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much more magic I can't wait to share with you. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello at Finding Harmony Podcast. And you can also come say hello to me personally at Harmony Slater Official. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you in our next episode.